Hi there, Asa Collier with Crash Combat Championship, and I'm joined by Kendall the Lion Ward tonight. Kendall is going to be fighting at Crash 8 in the first ever 125-pound bare knuckle Muay Thai Championship of the world. How you doing tonight, Kendall?
Dude, I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, brother, I'm really good, man. Thanks for joining me here for this little Q&A session. Um,
Not a problem, bro. Anytime you ask, I'm gonna jump on, bro.
I appreciate that, Kendall. Thank you. Um, well, first, I wanted to let people get to know you a little bit. People that don't know you, um, where are you from? And please tell us a little bit about your formative years.
All right, so I got a long history. So I was born in Bosco Bell, Jamaica, and St. Mary's, Jamaica, to Jamaican man and a Scottish woman. My mom is originally from Colorado Springs, Colorado, so I have dual citizenship in both countries. When I was 8 years old, we ended up moving to the United States. We ended up being in Colorado Springs for a while. Then we moved to the West Coast. I stayed out on the West Coast until about 4 years ago. Um, and then I grew up in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. And then just recently, about 4 years ago, I moved out here to Virginia with I'd say, with the grace of my daughter. She told me, Dad, if you're going to win a world title, you need to get away and you need to focus on this. So, the last 4 years, man, I've been grinding. I've been working super hard trying to, be a face and be a name. A lot of people know who the Lion is now. I mean, a pioneer in the sport of bare knuckle boxing, going to bare knuckle boxing into bare knuckle MMA. Now we're doing bare knuckle Muay Thai. So this is kind of fun. As far as my pedigree goes, I started martial arts back when I was 6 years old. Started in Taekwondo, did really well in that, and then it switched to wrestling. I wrestled all throughout middle school and high school. I went to college for it. I dropped out of college. I went to culinary school, and then after I finished culinary school, Um, I decided I wanted to try Muay Thai. So I decided I do Muay Thai. I went to Bantasai, Thailand. Um, it's a small little fishing village. I trained under Crew Jai Kang, or not. He wasn't in a crew. He was a crew then, but before I left, he became an Ajarn. So I became his apprentice, and I learned everything about the nine limbs that needs to be learned. Um, so he dubbed me Sing Tho, which is technically, in English translation from Thai, it means the lion. So I took that name, and then I came back to the states. I turned pro in boxing, and in 2008, and I dubbed myself Kendall Psycho Ward. Stupid. And then later on, a couple
That
years
is
later,
bad, brother.
I finally took the name that he gave me, and I started calling myself the Lion, and then it just stuck. It was just like, you grab something and you throw it up in the wind, up in the ceiling, and see if it sticks. Well, this one stuck, and everybody knows the Lion. You can definitely look me up anywhere. Yeah, I might have a very extensive record. I fought some monsters in my career. But I also realized lately, since I got back into MMA and I got back into Muay Thai, that I was a Thai fighter trying to box. That's I was forcing myself to do something that, well, the Western states didn't have Thai. They didn't have Muay Thai back in 2008. It was hearsay, or it was amateur, or something like that. So, my dream and my goal, man, is to hopefully put some light on Muay Thai for the United States, also to bring it in, but in this bare knuckle, and then hopefully get the attention of one championship, man.
Well, that's what I hope for you too, Kendall. This is exactly the kind of fight that could go to ONE FC, and they're the only people that are really doing it on a global stage right now. Um, ONE FC is very cool with all the different fight styles that they promote there. Um, but very neat stuff. Just not to get too far
Absolutely. I
off
mean,
onto the topic, but I do see a lot of guys, a lot of MMA guys, um, in particular, that start taking boxing fights,
yeah.
and they don't have a whole lot of luck in boxing. It ends up hurting their career in a lot of instances. And
Well, I mean,
you know,
yeah, and then you got to think too. It's like, I've had a lot of, I'd say, a lot of dastardly hands in my sport of boxing. You know, people. There's been a lot of promoters and matchmakers who have had their hand in my career since about 2010, and that hasn't stopped me. So, I mean, yeah, you might look at my record in boxing and you say, "Oh, well, he's a shitty fighter or whatever." But the problem is that you guys really don't know that I'm a martial artist. I forced myself to do this, and knowing that I was going in and fighting kids in their hometown state, with their hometown crowd and their hometown promoter, signed to their hometown promoter. And then when I was kicking their ass, they found every single reason to make sure that I lost. Step in, once they got a hand up on me or I was backed up against the ropes, and then they started throwing wild punches, something like that, dude. It's, what I love about martial arts, it's how bad do you want it? You know, it's
and
it's not
promoting,
money, it's not a money game.
yeah,
And I really feel, and I've been in the game for about 20 years now, almost. So, seeing it for what it is and knowing that boxing, ever since Don King got involved with boxing, boxing has never been the same. It's all about who has the money behind them, who has the fan base behind them, who can sell more tickets, stuff like that. So, I've had a certain matchmaker who has always had his hand in my career. And I don't know why. I don't know why he has a heart on for me, but you know what? I'm not even gonna mention him no more. But the problem is that I'm back in my martial art. I'm back where I need to be, and Muay Thai is definitely my game.
excellent, brother. I'm glad to hear that you're staying focused because there is a scaly underbelly to the fight game, particularly to boxing. But regional MMA, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just a
absolutely,
pervasive thing.
absolutely.
Where there's
I mean, I
dollars
went
to
out
be
there
made, you're going to get scaly people involved, and that's
exactly.
what it is.
I went out there to Phoenix, Arizona, just not too long ago, man, and fought kid named Alex Pressing, and rough championship. They lied to me, told me it wasn't signed to them, all this other stuff. Well, all of his fights have came from you guys. I know that he signed to you, and then come to find out, he's Sean O'Malley's, golden boy or whatever, dude. Like, I don't care how big you are, how bad you are, or how tough you think you are. If you want to fight, we're gonna fight. You sign the contract, I'll sign the contract, and then we'll go. You know what I mean? I don't care about your. It's not a popularity contest for me. I'm not hitting it for clout. I'm not in it for fame. I'm in it because I love to fight. I've been a fighter ever since I was 6 years old, dude, and this is what I know.
I dig it, brother. I dig it. Let's see here. You kind of already told us you live in Gretna right now, and so we'll switch into something a little bit more frivolous, I guess. If you could bring back one musician who died before their time, who would you bring back?
Can I pick two?
Pick two, by all means, brother.
I would definitely. So my dream. I mean, if I was alive then, man, I would love to go to Woodstock. I would love to see Bob Marley, and I would love to see Jimi Hendrix.
Mhm, mhm.
If I was to bring back anybody, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say three. And Prince. Prince is my all-time favorite artist, man. I cried when he died, dude. You know what I mean? Like, Prince, Bob Marley, and Jimi Hendrix are always my go-to. It's always playing when I'm training. It puts me in such a good mood, and it helps me focus. You know.
Yeah, those are phenomenal guys. We definitely lost before their time. Um, I've heard that Jimi Hendrix was getting into jazz before he died. What a thing
Yeah,
that would
he
have
was.
been.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And then he was doing jazz and a little bit of blues,
Crazy, crazy.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, he totally innovated a different style of playing the guitar. Had a right-handed guitar, he played it left-handed upside down. You know what I mean? Who does that? That's an innovator right there. Just like
yeah.
Prince. If you think of Prince, Prince is the kind of guy who played all of his own instruments, made his own music, and he owned 100% rights to all of his music. Plus, on top of that, he owned 50% stake in Nike. You know what I mean? He actually found the kid that was in Nike at the University of Oregon who wanted to do this shoe brand, and he invested in it, and he became partial owner of it.
Is that right? I
Yeah,
didn't know that part of
look
the
it
story.
up, man. It's crazy,
Huh.
man. When you think about all this stuff, it's like, dude, these guys are definitely innovators. You look at Bob Marley, man. Bob Marley has done so much for the world of not only reggae and bringing reggae out to the worldwide audience, but he turned calypso, which was the original reggae, into now reggae. You know what I mean? So, these guys, all these guys are innovators, man. And
Oh,
and
dude. Absolutely.
and to be honest with you, going into September 5th, man, I'm gonna be an innovator too.
There you go, man. There
You
you
know,
go.
and it's my time. I'm 38 tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
my time now, dude. I'm done playing games with everybody. Look, this is why I coach myself, I manage myself, and I train myself because my Ajarn back in Thailand, man, rest in peace. He when he dubbed me Singto, he always told me, he said, dude, you don't have to have a whole following behind you. You don't need to be in the gym with all these other guys who are there for clout and, glory and fame. You know what you need to do, you know, and being it's a different beast training in Thailand than it is training in the United States. The heat, the humidity, the constant. Those guys are built different. They are absolutely built different, man. And I remember fighting 3 times in 1 month. They don't even do weigh-ins. They just do size ups. So okay, this guy and this guy are the same height and the same size. Yeah, they'll fight. They don't do weigh-ins. You know what I mean?
Sounds
Like,
like some smoker fights I've seen in Kansas here.
yeah, dude, I'm telling you, the Thai people, the Thai fighters, Muay Thai fighters in Thailand are a different kind of beast, man. And being 3-0 in Muay Thai when I was in Thailand, it just lets me know that I was on a different level. Then, fighters aren't the same that they were back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Oh
you
no.
know, even the
No.
early 2000s. Now we got, these guys who claim they're big and bad, but they don't want to fight the best to be the best. They just want to fight guys to build their record and literally call themselves the best. You're not the best unless you fight somebody that you're willing to go into dark waters, deep dark waters with. That's what I truly believe.
I agree with you. I agree with you. A real fighter will test himself.
Absolutely. And and if you look at my boxing career, man, I've tested myself against some monsters, dude.
Yes, you have.
Some actual
Certainly have.
monsters. You
Absolutely.
know, half of those guys were supposed to be world champions, and after they fought me, and they never fought again. They quit. I'm 38 years old. They quit in their early 20 or in their mid to late 20s and early 30s. Dude, I'm almost 40 years old and I'm still banging with the rest of them.
You- Kendall, you're like a kid to me. Honestly, brother. 38, like 38,
I
still a kid.
mean, but you got to think about it. It's
Oh,
combat
old
sports
though.
world. I'm an old man, dude. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, no. You're
But
right.
if you look
I
at
still think you're viable for some time.
Absolutely. I still got some time, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I had a little bit of health issues for a minute, but that's back on track. I'm doing a lot more stretching. I'm doing a lot more mobility workouts. You know what I mean? I'm not
yeah.
pushing myself. I'm not So here's how my
Training
training
does
schedule has
change
gone.
over time, man.
Exactly. Once the age starts, you start paying attention to the age in your body, then you realize that you can't go, train 7 days a week, train 6 days a week. No, you got to train as hard as you can and then maybe take 2 or 3 days off. And then you're
Rest.
back, you're refreshed, and you're ready to go again. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So,
yeah.
so, and knowing my knowledge in Muay Thai, I'm not afraid of this fight, especially with it being bare knuckle.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. I got one more question for you, and it's kind of piggybacking the musician question. But what do you listen to get into kill mode? What's your jam to get into kill mode?
Hmm. I listen to honestly because of my mom. Excuse me. Excuse me. Because of my mom, man, I listen to a lot of classic rock. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Like, here I am, rock you like a hurricane. That song was made by for her Reuben Hurricane Carter. You know what I mean? No One Like You by the Scorpions. Like, I listen to a lot of like classic rock, bro. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just got a different kind of feel, a different kind of vibe. you know. But then when it's time to fight, when it's actually time to fight, I get into my chill mode and I start listening to a lot of reggae, you know. And Wise Man, who's my cousin, he's out in St. Mary's, Jamaica right now, and he does a lot of my entrance music and stuff like that. This time, I don't think I'm going to use him because this title's for me and my kids. You know what I mean? And everything that I put into the sport, the blood, the sweat, the tears, everything. So um I might end up switching up the song, switching up the entrance song to get me hyped up. I've been listening a lot to this song. I can't remember who it's by, but it's called Fuck Around and Find Out. You
Okay.
know, and I'm telling you, yeah, I think that one's gonna be it.
I like that. I like that. I want to hear the fuck around and find out track, brother.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, man. Well, I got some over under questions for you. These are obviously
Absolutely.
lighthearted questions. Give you a word, term, etc., and you tell me if it's overrated or underrated, please.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first, over or underrated UFC casuals. Talking about UFC casual fans. Are they over or underrated?
Honestly, I think they're overrated. I think they're too gung ho. You know what I mean? And I mean, they're willing to start fights with each other over this stuff.
Oh
We're
yeah,
here for your entertainment. We
right.
are here for your entertainment. We are putting our lives on the line for you guys. You guys should have a little bit more sympathy instead of trying to hop in our inbox talking shit or whatever, or trying to fight each other because your favorite fighter lost. Shut up, dude.
Yeah,
Just enjoy the show.
yeah. It's like they have better things to do than watch the show than making
Right.
shooting
Go
noises and
sit on your chair and eat your hamburger and just watch the fight.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like look, if combat sports was easy, then everybody would do it.
yeah.
If everything about combat sports was natural, then everybody would do it. This is the reason why we put ourselves through hell and high water to become the best, to show what not only what we've learned, but to show you to actually put on a show for you guys. When we sign that contract, that waiver sits there and says that look, you're liable to die. I know that.
Right,
I don't care.
right on, right on. So we got overrated UFC casuals. Next over under BKFC casuals. Are they over or
Uh,
underrated?
I've met a lot of great fans of BKFC, and I've met a lot of horrible fans of BKFC. So it's honestly, man, it's kind of a toss up to me. It's like a 50-50 here.
Okay,
Um, Now, if you're talking about BKB, absolutely overrated.
okay,
I think the actual bare knuckle organization that's really doing something and has really brought some light to this, even though, and I have all respect for Dada 5000, that's his creation. But the guys who are running it right now are running that company into the ground and they don't see it. The matchmaker, the owner, everybody's just running it into the ground. So if you look at BKFC, man, they brought in Conor McGregor, they brought in a lot of good names, and it's gotten a lot more recognition, I believe, in the sport of bare knuckle than BKB has. I think if you think about it like this, okay, BKFC is like the UFC, BKB is like Bellator, or maybe WFC, or you know what I mean, something a
Sure,
small promotion.
BKFC casual fan may not even know what BKB is, honestly.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's
It's
because
that
because
far off
more
of
people, yeah, more people are
path.
more in tuned to the first program that has actually, sold out stadiums.
Sure,
These guys are still fighting in little theaters and stuff like that, man. They're really not making. I mean, I used to fight for BKB, so you know what I mean. Like, and the venues that I've been in, they're not as big as the BKFC venues that
sure.
they have. You know what I mean? Those guys have literally have a lot of good investors behind them. They have some smarts behind them, and they have a plan. I think honestly, BKB is shooting from the hip. They're like, all right, just like I said earlier, you see what sticks to the ceiling. Throw it up and see if it sticks. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like, but now I've also noticed that BKB has become more of a Hispanic promotion. They have a lot of Hispanic champions. They have a lot of Hispanic fighters now. They've gotten rid of a lot of the white guys, the black guys. You know what I mean? You name it, they're not there anymore. They've actually transferred over to BKFC. BKFC is now like an equal opportunity employer, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a wild thing. I've even heard boxing promotion people talk about the Latino dollar, and that's what you want to book main cards with Mexican guys
Yeah,
because they're the draw. No, that's the thing. I've definitely heard about that in boxing circles, and
yeah,
that's not a rumor. That's real. Um, let's see. So BKFC casuals are even. We're just going to call them even
yeah. It's like I'm gonna say 50-50 on
50-50
you know
on
what I
the
mean? Because
BK.
there's definitely some bad ones, and there's some definitely some great ones. Like I've
Sure.
met a lot of great ones, and I've met a lot of just like gung ho, just man, you can't be that stupid.
Yeah. 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 Excellent. So over or under Dana White. Is that motherfucker
I
overrated?
think I think Dana I think Dana White's completely overrated.
Yeah.
And then now that he's getting into boxing, I think Zuffa is. I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of Zuffa boxing matches.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, man, I really think that what he's trying to do is he's trying to take. Look, you got to think about it, man. And you're doing almost similar thing that one championship is doing. You're integrating all of these different styles and all of these different martial arts into your program, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
Which
sir.
which actually keeps the fans more excited.
I
Um,
agree.
but what what I think Dana White is doing, man, he's trying to keep the attention on the glove fighting. He doesn't understand that with gloves causes more damage than without. Us as human beings, we are created as machines, right? So adding weight to our hands also creates brain damage. Yeah,
Sure.
granted, when we're fighting in bare knuckle, there's a lot more cuts and scrapes and stuff like that. But in a boxing match, I can tell you because I've been in boxing and wearing gloves, the healing time for boxing compared to bare knuckle, it's absolutely so much longer than it is in bare knuckle. Even though the cuts and the scrapes happen and stuff like that, I'll heal within probably like a week, maybe. With boxing, it takes me about 2.5 weeks just to heal, you know. puffy eyes and swollen everything. You know what I mean? You get hematomas. You know what I mean? But in a bare knuckle fight, even if you get a hematoma, you put ice on it for the whole night, dude. That it goes away quick.
Yeah, these
You know
things
what
are
I mean?
superficial compared to brain damage caused by repetitive punches to the head.
Exactly. And seeing the science behind it,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like you're putting 8 ounces or 4 ounces on your hands, which is causing your brain to rattle in your head, which is causing could cause Parkinson's. It could cause brain damage. It could cause a lot of
Keeping that guy's
back
hand fresh
pain.
so he can do it to you
Huh?
300 times. Keeping that guy's hand fresh so he can hit you about 300 times.
Exactly, dude. And it's just like it just doesn't make sense to me. That's why I walked away from boxing.
Bare knuckles need it's the raw form of fighting, and particularly BKMMA. We've yet to
I
see
love
bare
BK
knuckle
MMA.
here,
Like
but
I would love to
BKMA is
fight another
amazing.
one.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love
You
to
know what
see
I
you in
mean?
that. Okay, so we got Dana White is overrated. BK casuals, even UFC casuals are overrated. Last question we got here. White Castle, brother. Is White Castle overrated or underrated?
You talk about White Castle burgers,
Yes.
bro. I love that place, man. Dude,
I know you're a
I
chef, so
don't
I
think
had to ask you about some bad
absolutely. I
pizza.
don't think that too many people like in the history of White Castle and it being around because it's not around much anymore. Like there's only like certain spots, certain places in America that really have it now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I really think it's underrated because of the fact is that not a lot of people know about it anymore. I mean, and now you
Um,
look at our new generation, dude. Like you can't even tell them like, look, I grew up in a time where there was no internet or cell phones and stuff like that, and they're like, what? You're like
yeah.
ancient. You know what I mean? No, shut
Right.
up, man. I'm not. I was the generation where they first created the internet and cell phones and all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
We weren't hooked on it like that. We were still outside, going outside to play. You know what I mean?
Here.
We were still out there, riding bikes with our friends until the street lights came on, and then we were racing the street lights home. You know what I mean? Just to
Yeah,
get home
absolutely.
before mom whooped our ass. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
our mom cared if we came home at all. Honestly. She prefer we
so
stay
I'm
away.
saying, like, I still remember that commercial. It's like, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? You know what I mean? I remember those. You know what I mean? They don't get it, dude. Like I guess you can call me an old head then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as White Castle burgers, bro, I think there needs to be more of them.
Underrated.
Yeah,
Underrated. Next time I
absolutely.
see one, I'm gonna have a White Castle burger because you said so. And so
Go
recap
have
on
one.
our.
Hey, go
Yeah,
have one for me too, bro. 'Cause you know what I
I
mean? I'm
will.
in the
Yeah,
mood
you're
for
cutting. You're cutting. No
that.
White Castles for you. So White Castle is underrated. Dana White is overrated. BKFC casuals are dead even. They're right there in the middle.
Dead even. I would say dead even.
And UFC casuals are overrated. Bunch of
Absolutely.
entitled pricks. Excuse me, paraphrasing.
Absolutely. Hey, man, no, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say that.
And it's such a weird dichotomy because, like, Crash Combat fans, we have a good time at our shows. People are cool.
Absolutely, dude. I had a
Huh?
good time the last time. Had fun. Signed autographs. Took pictures. Stuff like that. There was
Heck
nobody
yeah.
trying to say, "I'll fight you next," and you know what I mean. Like, dude,
Right,
look.
right.
Look,
That
I mean,
stuff's so
I'm
silly.
not here to try to test to see whose dick is bigger, bro. But you know
Right.
what I mean. Like, if you want to get down, talk to the matchmaker and the promoter, bro, and we'll set something up. You know what I mean? Like,
Heck yeah.
I'm outside the ring and outside the ring, dude. I'm probably one of the most humble fighters you will ever meet.
Well, I love
Inside
that.
the
You
ring,
guys have some
and
honor.
and that's what I've differentiated because I was talking to my mom about this. She said you become a different person when you come into the ring, and I said, well, yeah, because Kendall stays outside the ring, and the lion enters the ring. It's not, you know, and it's not one of that weird like 2020. I identify as a lion. No, absolutely, dude. There's a different entity inside of me, and especially when it comes to combat sports. That's the lion, bro. That's not Kendall Ward. Kendall Ward is literally sitting outside the ring watching, going, "Oh my god!" Like, like his motherfucker's a monster, dude. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I mean, I've never. I mean, you look at it, bro. I've never been knocked down. I've never been knocked out. I've never been taken off of my feet. I will literally, legitimately say that with 100%, you know, definite clarity and knowing and confidence, because there's a reason why nobody will rematch me. I gave I gave I gave this chance to Paul Kearns because I didn't want his career to go like mine did. You know what I mean? Look, don't shake my hand and agree that you want a rematch and then turn around and then I hear nothing from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there.
A man is as good as his word, and his word is his bond. My grandfather taught
Yeah,
me that. My mom taught me that. So if you say you're gonna do something, do it.
yeah.
If you can't do it, then shut the fuck up.
That's the cowboy way, brother. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's how a man's supposed to operate. Brother, I
Absolutely.
really appreciate that. And go ahead and wrap it up here, brother. But we are looking forward to this fight here in a few days, Kendall. You have any parting thoughts for us?
Um, just stay tuned because this is gonna be the funnest thing you guys have ever seen.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for speaking with me, Kendall. And like I say, I'm excited, man. And we'll be talking here in the run up to these fights. But good luck in the rest of your training. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
I'm telling you, these next 3 weeks are gonna be hell week, dude. You know what I mean? Like, there's no sleeping on anything at this point. I mean, I'm going to 2 days for the next 3 weeks, so waking up
Yes.
early, and I still do my Muay Chai in the morning at 4 a.m. before I go to work. So I get to, you know what I mean? That's like my Zen moment. And then I go to work and come back home, and then it's go time.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. Well, awesome, Kendall. We'll talk to you real soon, brother.
Absolutely, brother. I look forward to seeing you, man, and shaking your hand, giving you a hug, and putting on a good show for you, big dog.
Likewise, brother. I'm excited to see you, man.
Excellent.
Cool, brother. See you soon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Kendall.